State Representative Gloria Johnson joins us live now to discuss the move to expel her former colleagues and her. Representative Johnson, thank you so much. I know it's been a wild 24 hours for you with all the chaos we saw at the legislature yesterday. You survived by one vote, but the other two young men, both black, did not. And after State Representative Justin Jones lost his vote, you said race could be a factor. I want you to just talk a little bit more about that, the racial element to all of this, and your message to Republicans.
You know, I serve in a body that just a few weeks ago we made national news because the Republicans have a bill to bring back the firing squad and the electric chair. And one of the Republican members said, I think we should add hanging by a tree. So he recalled lynching and thought that bringing back lynching was a good idea. This is not something that's unusual. There have been multiple comments like this, but if you heard the questioning directed to my two colleagues, those questions were very different than the questions directed at me. And the tone, all of those things were different. It was very clear what was happening there.
It was very stark. I agree to see that happening live. And, you know, this punishment was notably very punitive. You survived narrowly, but especially given that this is just the third time since the Civil War era that a lawmaker has been expelled from the Tennessee House, you acknowledge you broke the rules. But does the punishment fit the crime in this case? Was it really what you did that led to this action? Does it meet that requirement?
No, I mean, we have had so much more disturbances on the House floor and you know, much more severe. Just Monday night, I think tensions were high. And Monday night, a Republican member shoved Representative Jones and took his cell phone. It was remarkable. It looked almost like a huddle, or not a huddle, but a fight you see on the side of a football field or basketball court, you know, where the two teams are going towards each other. And literally members were pushing them apart. And, you know, it's just remarkable that this went to the level. I mean, it was interesting because Thursday, the day that this happened on the floor, we had our badges cut off. They wouldn't work on any of the doors. And then we had our garage openers cut off as well. We're like, okay, is that the punishment? And then going to work Monday, expecting to go to committee at 1:30, and we get a letter about an hour before saying that we have been stripped of all of our committees. Well, okay, is that our punishment? And then we get to the floor Monday night, and they're telling us that we're up for expulsion. So it was the ultimate extreme punishment for literally breaking a House rule. When we have had people on the floor who have been convicted of domestic violence, who are under federal investigation and stayed on the floor knowing all of their crimes until they were indicted for a year, 2 years. And not only that, but those people kept their committees. They were chairmanship, they were in leadership. And we've had all sorts of altercations. We've had one member pee in another's chair. So, and nothing happened for any of those things. We had an admitted child molester on the floor, and they did nothing to expel that member. I actually brought a resolution to expel him. They would not hear it and said his district knew, and they elected him anyway, so they had to honor the voters in his district. Well, they didn't seem to want to honor the voters in the districts that sent me and Rep. Pearson and Rep. Jones.
So what you're describing, definitely much more serious charges. What should have been the punishment then? Like a censure or some type of rebuke? What should have been the punishment? Because, I mean, rules were broken of decorum. It was a disturbance, but it doesn't seem like the punishment fits the crime here.
No, the punishment absolutely doesn't fit the crime, because in actuality, you know, much of what you see, if you've seen the video from the House floor on Thursday, they as soon as we walked up to the podium, the speaker shut the mic off and called recess. So we were actually in recess during the 5-ish minutes that we were up front in the well. But yes, we knew we were outside the rules. But actually, we found out yesterday there isn't a rule about walking to the well without the House's permission. So interestingly enough, maybe we didn't break a rule. But yes, the punishment to that extent was just outrageous. I expected censure. I expected maybe losing committees for the rest of this session, but that's not what happened.
I just want to get back to the racial element of all of this. Both of those men are black. You are white. Have you heard anything from your Republican colleagues? Because the optics of this look really bad for them. Have you heard about how they've explained why you survived this?
No, I have not. And the optics are terrible, and it's legitimate. I mean, they're going to have a lot to answer. I am so happy that so much of the nation, the world, were watching, because they need to be asked questions about. That thing yesterday was an assault on democracy for the way that they ran it, for the way that they had the rules. They wouldn't allow me to bring videos, or they wouldn't allow us to bring video, but they moved to bring video of their own that we had not seen. We didn't know who took it. We didn't know who edited it. And because they had the vote, because they have a supermajority, they could easily vote by 2/3 to show their video, but they would not allow ours. There's a lot of, I think that a lot of ways we can, there may be lawsuits from this, I don't know. But it's also possible that their county elected officials could appoint them, and they could be right back in a few weeks.
And of course, this all brought up a lot of issues, that being of the racial issue, also with younger lawmakers. But ultimately, it all started because of the shooting that happened last month in Nashville. This all centers around gun control. That's what brought you there in the first place. So what does this do to voter trust in the political system? And what do you hope to do moving forward now that you're now that you are part of this legislative body, but those other two representatives are not? Do you regret what you did, or was that a part of a bigger effort to bring eyeballs onto this issue?
I do not regret it. I regret that we serve in a body that silences our voices, that would not allow us to speak on that day to the protesters, to recognize that they were there, to recognize that this is an issue that we see them, we hear them, and we want to work on this issue. I brought red flag laws twice before and had another one to bring. I will continue to bring it until we pass it. But what it has done is it has got to focus on what's happening in our legislature. It's gotten so many people paying attention and so many people showing up to make their voices heard. And that's what needs to keep happening. The pressure from the people, especially these amazing young people. They're just so wonderful, so passionate, and so well-spoken and well-organized. I think they're going to continue showing up at the Capitol, and I think they're the ones that are going to be making the difference. And we're going to do everything we can to work with them. And I know that Justin Jones and Justin Pearson are going to continue working as well, because the three of us have always been very vocal, and we've all come from a sort of organizing background and that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt that all of this action brought a lot of people watching something that they probably never have watched before, and the sound was deafening of those protests outside of the chambers there. All right, Tennessee State Representative Gloria Johnson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.